In another neighborhood, a confrontation with ICE agents turning violent.
Go ahead.
Angry residents shouting and masked agents making an arrest. Agents deploying a gas canister and moments later pushing a woman to the ground before driving off in a van.
Get up, get up, get up.
You have no permission to be on my
You
property.
no permit for enter. Hey. Come on.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today we're going to be talking about something that happened just yesterday in Chicago. This is such a wild story where ICE jumped out on some workers. They were working on somebody's home, it looks like. And the workers all went to run inside. And it looks like at least one of the workers got caught in the window. I guess he was trying to go into the window. And so people on the inside of the structure are trying to pull him in. And apparently on the outside of the structure, the ICE or Border Patrol people, the immigration authorities, were trying to pull him out, right? And we don't have a lot of information about this person's identity. We don't have a lot of information about whether he was wanted just for deportation or for a criminal warrant. But this is an absolutely crazy situation. But it's a great opportunity for you to learn something about, for you to learn a lot, actually, about what ICE can and can't do and what police officers can and cannot legally do when pursuing somebody, particularly onto your property and into your residence. So I'm going to give y'all information on that today. We're also going to get a quick little clip of your boy, you know, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. You know that he's out here just running his mouth saying whatever he can. So we're going to get a quick clip of him first, y'all. Let's just go ahead and do this. This was a quick clip of him. If y'all did not watch yesterday's video, I'm going to link to it. I'm going to give you a quick clip of him, just a teaser for what we talked about in yesterday's video. It was a doozy. So if you didn't watch it, y'all should definitely check it out.
We don't have illegal aliens. Yeah. I don't know if that's from some sort of sci-fi message that you would have had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings.
Well, Jimmy?
This is the reason Brandon Johnson is polling behind my milk. I had 2% this morning. I don't know if he got the memo.
Okay, so I break this entire situation down in yesterday's video. And if you did watch it, go watch it again. It's an excellent video. I probably watched it myself about 5 times. So, y'all, let's go ahead and hop into this situation where this crazy situation, this ICE raid in the Chicago area, where you have I guess a migrant or somebody that ICE was chasing hanging inside and outside of this, like half inside, half outside of this residence of this building. And I'm going to give y'all everything you need to know about this type of situation so that you are totally informed, y'all. Let's take a look. But before we do, y'all, we have a new webpage for my people out there who are like, yo, I have money, but I don't want to give it away to the people who are trying to take it. How can I protect my retirement? Y'all, gold. How many times do I have to tell you? Gold has been man's longest monetary best friend for 5,000 years. I mean, what else are you looking for? Go to our webpage. Go to the new webpage, Paralegal, PARALEGOLD.com. Get the information on how to protect your retirement. And you can call 844-651-8334 and speak to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Now let's go ahead and hop into this content.
This morning, Homeland Security is defending actions taken by federal officers in Chicago over the weekend that sparked outrage from some residents.
Tear gas in Old Irving Park right now, our own neighborhood, scaring our children.
A Halloween parade for kids canceled after agents deployed what appeared to be tear gas.
We were supposed to be standing on this corner with hundreds of families walking around, and we're just being terrorized by ICE.
DHS says the agents were acting in self-defense after a crowd started gathering during the arrest of a construction worker who was in the country illegally.
I'm gonna throw it right back at you.
In another neighborhood, a confrontation with ICE agents turning violent. Angry residents shouting and masked agents making an arrest. Agents deploying a gas canister and moments later pushing a woman to the ground before driving off in a van.
Get up.
And on Friday, agents were trying to arrest construction workers at a private home.
You have no permission to be on my
You know,
property.
When one worker became caught in a tug of war with an agent and co-worker who managed to pull him through a window into the home. Border Patrol Commissioner Greg Bovino tells ABC News nearly 3,000 people have been arrested in Chicago so far since the immigration crackdown started last month. Bovino is due in court tomorrow after this video appeared to show him throwing tear gas last week. He's accused of violating a restraining order that limits the use of tactics to suppress protests. Homeland Security says Bovino had been hit in the head by a rock. Bovino says agents are trying to use as little force as possible.
Okay, so I want you to pay attention, y'all. I want you to pay attention to these comments from the owner of that home that you just saw, okay? And you're also going to get some additional images of what happened inside of that home. I'm going to tell you my initial reaction, but then I'm also going to tell you what I found from my research, because your boy, that's me, I did go to law school, people, and I took criminal procedure, but I don't know that I ever studied. And if I did, of course, I forgot. It was many years ago. I forgot now, right? That's why I had to brush up on my knowledge. I know that. Just hold off, y'all. Watch this, and we'll get to that in a second. Let's take a look.
Property. A tenant whose face we are covering for her own privacy and safety told the agent in no uncertain terms that they do not have a warrant to enter her property. In another dramatic clip, you see agents try to pull a man out of a second-story window. Watch.
Close the window. Close the window. Close the window. Now. Oh, hit him. Yeah. You have no permission to be on my
You know,
property.
permit for enter. Hey! Come on.
Joining us now, Leo Feller, whose home you just saw in those images there. Leo, I want to start with you. Thank you so much for joining this. I'm sure this has been a difficult and traumatic experience. We've spoken before. You came home last night to blood all over your house. What happened? And did anyone ever show you or your tenant a warrant?
So thank you for having me on, Catherine. No, there were no warrants shown. This was a really surprising and jarring and frightening attack. The gates were locked. The federal immigration agents jumped over the gates and onto the property. The workers ran into the house. My tenant was the one who was home at the time. She is a young 20-year-old woman. She let the workers come into the back stairwell. The workers came into my unit. You can see there in the images the amount of blood on the floor. I've spent most of the day cleaning up that blood. Surprising that this could happen. And I'm just appalled that in our country, federal agents can jump onto private property, jump onto a balcony of a private property, create this kind of chaos.
Okay, so you see immigration jump out of their van or whatever type of vehicle they were in and chase people, right? Now, in law school, you learned that this would be considered hot pursuit. What is hot pursuit? Hot pursuit means that law enforcement is actively chasing somebody suspected of a crime. So they're chasing that person, right? And you have a Fourth Amendment right, y'all. Now just follow me because you need to know this. You have a Fourth Amendment right against the police officers just busting into your home. In other words, if they don't have a warrant, they can't just bust into your home to take a look for whatever they're looking for, or for whoever they're looking for that matter. But one exception is hot pursuit. If they're chasing a criminal and that criminal runs into your home, they can go into your home behind that criminal to apprehend that criminal without a warrant. Okay. So when I saw this, I'm like, well, that's ICE. They're law enforcement, right? They're chasing people who go into this home, so they should be able to enter the home, obviously. right? But before I brought that information to y'all, I wanted to double check because I know ICE is different from a police officer. And it turns out that the answer is not right. ICE does not have the constitutional right to chase somebody into your home who is only wanted for deportation, because deportation, as I explained in yesterday's video, and y'all need to watch it, deportation is a civil process. It's not a criminal process. So even if the person is a criminal, if ICE is chasing them for deportation reasons, not due to a crime or a criminal warrant, they're chasing them because, hey, we want to catch you and deport you. Hot pursuit does not apply. So ICE doesn't, not only don't they have the right to go into this person's home, but it's debatable that they even have the right to go onto the person's property at all. And it's even less debatable, meaning they don't have a constitutional right to, like, say you're like, oh, well, I'm not in the home, I'm just sticking my hand through the window. Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing, okay, as going into the home. So while I'm all ready to say, hey, hot pursuit, turns out in this case, this would not qualify as the hot pursuit exception unless ICE were chasing this person due to a criminal warrant or a crime, but not just for deportation. Now, because this is MSNBC, okay, one, they don't give you all of that breakdown that I just did. So that's why y'all come watch me, which they should, because this would help people not only know your rights according to the Constitution and the Supreme Court, but it would help everybody understand the situation more, okay? But because this is MSNBC, they think that when somebody comes to work, when somebody's been working on your house for 2-3 weeks, months, whatever, that you somehow know their criminal background or their criminal, hey, these people are just coming to work. Does that mean they're not a criminal?
Leo, thank you so much for sharing this story with us. I wanted to read to you how, and our viewers, how one of your neighbors described this to the New York Times. I wanted to get your thoughts. They say, in part, we're told by the government that these guys are criminals and rapists and thugs. This guy was just working a construction job, putting siding on a house. Talk to us about who these guys you hired to fix your home were. Are they people in the people in the administration tries to make them out to be, which is paint everybody as criminals and thugs and gangsters and drug dealers?
So I hired a construction company. The construction company then hired these workers. So I didn't hire these workers directly. My understanding is, and my experience with them, is that they are wonderful people. They actually have the door codes to be able to get into my home. I see them, when they are here at 7 a.m. when they start working. I say goodbye to them at dusk when they leave, when it's too dark to continue to work. These are people who I consider friends at this point after 3-4 weeks of getting to know them. They are hardworking individuals. And I think importantly, one point in time, there was an ICE raid in the area about 2 weeks ago. And I asked one of the workers, are you okay? Do you want to go home? Maybe you guys should just stay indoors. And he told me, no, we actually have permission to be here.
Now, mind you, I'm not saying these people are criminals. Okay. I have no proof. I have no evidence. I have no reason to believe that they are, but I also don't have any reason to believe that they aren't, because I don't know them. And neither do you, okay? And neither does this guy who's employing him. He doesn't know anybody's criminal background. So you can also see how there's this narrative where it's like, because you're a worker, you're not a criminal. Don't most criminals go to work? I don't know. But again, I'm certainly not accusing these migrants of anything criminal, because I don't know them. But to disqualify them from potentially having committed crimes simply because, hey, they're at my house working. They can't. I mean, that doesn't make any sense either now, does it? So y'all, to keep with this theme, just yesterday, I was at what you can call an outdoor Halloween celebration in a local area where there were hundreds, if not thousands of children. And because I talk about this stuff so much, for some inexplicable reason, just in my mind pops, whoa, what if I saw a chase? What if ICE popped up here and started chasing somebody? You know what I realized? If ICE popped up and started chasing somebody, that wouldn't cause chaos. That would not cause any kind of chaos. I've seen police chases before. I've seen many police chases before. I've never thought of it as chaos at all, ever, not once. But you know what would cause chaos? if the police, the authorities catch that person, and then hundreds of people around start to scream at them, start to throw rocks at them, start to hurl epithets and profanity at them. And then in response, those authorities hurl tear gas. Now we starting to get into the chaos category. So my point is, it's not the pursuit that causes chaos, generally speaking. It's not the apprehension that causes chaos. It's the people who then interfere and rise up against legitimate law enforcement activity, or even illegitimate law enforcement activity, because frankly, the average layman on the street doesn't know one thing from the other. So once the people start confronting ICE, that's where the chaos comes in. And then they blame it on ICE for even having done their job. Well, really, if you just stand back and let them do what they're going to do, it would just be a regular police chase, and we've all seen that. So y'all, in these videos, I'm going to attempt to do a little bit more explanation of the law where I feel qualified to do so. I feel very comfortable in this situation saying that if ICE was only pursuing a civil deportation warrant or strategy, then they really should not go onto somebody's private property, and definitely shouldn't go into their home or even reach into their home. So that's just the law. Okay. So now y'all know. Now, based on what you saw there, I'm telling you the law. You can research it. You can tell me in the comments if you disagree. As a matter of fact, if you disagree and you have a reason to know that the law is different from how I just explained it, drop it down in the comments. If not, let me know, what do you think about this when you see ICE running onto somebody's private property behind a deportation warrant and then tug of warring with a migrant who's trying to escape? How does that hit you? What do you think? What are your comments about that? Let me know down in the comments below. But before you do, y'all, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. To my people in retirement, go down, click the link in the description, Paralegal, PARALEGOLD.com. Get the information on protecting your retirement from the upsies, the downsies, the roundsies, and the roundsies. And you can reach out to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.
Andrea, at risk of sounding a little bit like a yokel here, if something like this had happened in Mississippi and people who weren't supposed to be on my dad's property came in, he would pick up his firearm. What rights do residents have against unlawful entry? And I'm not advocating violence in any way, shape, or form. I'm just thinking about how risky this can be on multiple levels when in certain areas of the United States, the castle doctrine does apply.
You're right. It is risky, not just for the workers who were being targeted here, but also for law enforcement themselves. This is not at all how immigration enforcement should be conducted. And there's a reason why you've never seen an administration try and do it this way before. I want to remind viewers that one of the reasons you see cars suddenly pulling up in a video like this is because they have no targeted sort of enforcement priorities in place right now. They have no guardrails. And the reason why they don't have any guardrails on where and when they do enforcement is because Trump ended those. And that was a very extreme move that ends decades and really half a century of the way immigration enforcement was conducted. So you're right. The home is one of the most constitutionally protected zones that we have. And, you know, you have case law, it's very clear whether that is from former Justice Scalia or more recent cases that talk about even a front yard and gates that are locked, that there are procedures that a law enforcement officer has to follow because the Fourth Amendment requires it. So while I don't know all the facts of how ICE planned this operation or what kind of planning went into it, there are some really concerning things that we've seen on that video that suggest that they are not fully respecting both statute on how to conduct an immigration arrest or the Constitution.